So hey guys, today with me is Ed Ross, who is one of the founders of the social impact workwear brand, Tradies by for Tradies, called TradeMutt. So I've got, before you wondering what I'm wearing, this is some of the TradeMutt gear here, the great funky coloured workwear. And maybe you want to tell us a bit about the TradeMutt brand and the story, Ed, and how it all came about.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for having me on, Joel. Mate, yeah, TradeMutt, we're a social impact workwear company founded by two tradies, Dan Allen and myself. We started it March 2018. Dan lost a close mate to suicide here in Brisbane, tragically one weekend in the end of sort of 2015. Dan and I are both chippies by trade. We were working on a job site in Kenmore. Dan got a phone call from his mate on the Friday afternoon, just absolutely elated to say that he'd just secured an apprenticeship as a mature age carpenter. He was supposed to start that job on Monday. Tragically his life, he took that on the Sunday morning, so he never ended up starting that job. And it was quite an eye-opening experience. Obviously for Dan and I didn't know Dan's mate directly, but I was sort of indirectly affected by his death through Dan's grieving and his time at work and that sort of mourning process the months following. And then we'd already had an idea for some funky work shirts, an idea that just sort of sat in the background there on long days on the tools out in the sun here in Brisbane. And after Dan's mate passed away, we thought, well, why don't we try and make a difference in this space and tie the two ideas together. And we learnt what social enterprise was and profit for purpose, and we just went straight at it. And sort of three and a bit years down the road, and it's been an amazing journey so far.
So this is 3.5 years ago when you started it, and so what did you? So it's a pretty big change. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur these days, but you stumbled across a really good thing, which I think is going to be a massive thing moving forward for a lot of companies, and you sort of seem dabbling in it, is the profit for purpose or the social enterprise type of thing. And I don't think 3.5 years ago there was many people who had that sort of thought to do that. So can you just tell us a little bit about the profit for purpose and how that all came together and from the early days?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Dan and I both had a fairly keen interest in business and business models for quite a while. I'd gone to college down in Victoria and done agribusiness diploma down there. Was always looking at different business ideas and how people had their own businesses and what they did for a living and how they got into it. And then when we found out there were people sort of dabbling in the space of like Thank You Water and stuff like that, doing profit for purpose. It was just something that we thought it was an absolute no-brainer. It means what, why wouldn't you do this? You can have a for-profit business that can, make you self-employed, something that's scalable, and something that's helping a range of people and social outcomes through doing the business you were going to do anyway. So, we sort of learnt what it was and went for it, not even without a second thought. It was just, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to make as much social impact and as much social change as we can through this really cool business we've been able to create.
Now, in the early days, was it a part-time thing, or did you just go full and stop and you went full-time into it, or how did it happen?
Oh, mate, I suppose it's like all startup journeys. It was just very big days on the tools. We were working most weekends to save up some cash for us to be able to start it. We were doing, late nights, drawing up business plans, having meetings with people after work. I remember we were, meeting with people through Spring Hill and in the city, and I'd be parking in loading zones with my big Hilux and dual axle trailer, and Dan to be parking the company truck we were working for, in loading zones and stuff like that, and ducking into meetings looking like we were tradies still. And it was just a lot of time spent after hours hustling to make it happen. We were fortunate enough to get picked up. We were at a pub one afternoon having our Thursday night shareholders meetings, we used to call them, and it was the first time our samples had arrived from overseas that were right. And we thought, why don't we wear these down to the pub and see how they go? So we wore them down there, and it was Dan and I and our mate Russ, and there for 3 hours, and we had over 6 different people come up to us and ask us what the shirts are about, and we were like, holy shit, these things are working. They didn't even have this as a conversation started on the back as of yet. And the last person that came up to us was someone that worked for a local rag paper here in Brizzy, and next thing we knew, we were on the 7 News, and that was it. We've been full time sort of ever since.
That's a really interesting story because I always say test your product, send out survey monkeys asking questions. But did you realise what you were doing at the time by doing that in the pub?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it was just us doing what we didn't know any better. We're just doing it. We thought, well, we've got them made now. Why don't we wear them and see how they go? Wore them down there. I still remember the afternoon at Dan's place in Toowong trying them on and being like, wow, these are really cool. We've finally got something we can actually tangibly touch and put on our backs. And yeah, mate, it was just sort of it was just a whirlwind, really. Still is.
And do you think having that purpose with the mental health aspects sort of helps you push further in a startup as opposed to just being like an independent, let's say, workwear brand in the early days?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the interesting component is that people are drawn to stories, and people want to get more than just a product these days. People love buying into a cause or a narrative or a journey, and we're just fortunate that we've been able to share our story in a way that is compelling and that people can relate to. I mean, we've all got mental health. It's something that we all need to be looking after. And I mean, we've all got to wear workwear. Why don't we wear something that's a little bit different, adds a little bit of variety, and allows people to show a little bit of vulnerability out on a job site, and just creating that peer-to-peer connection, allowing people to come together when they wouldn't otherwise be doing so.
So in the early days, was that how was the initial goal? So here's this workwear concept. We want to do something with mental health. Is it where it is now? Is it sort of developed into that? Was that always the plan from the start, or how'd that come about?
It was always the plan to be a conversation starter, most definitely. But it's sort of it's definitely foregone anything we ever believed it would be. Obviously, now having our own non-for-profit foundation as well, which is giving people direct access to professional psychologists Monday to Friday 9 to 5, which has been amazing. The beginning, it was just sort of, hey, look, we've got this idea. We want people to start talking about the more important things on a daily basis. Why don't we just buy some shirts, see if anyone buys them, and we'll go from there. And it was sort of, they sold out, so we ordered some more and rolled it over, and we thought, people want high-vis ones, so we'll make some high-vis ones. And it's basically got to a point now where it's more of a total uniform solution type thing, where people just absolutely love our brand and our messaging and what we're doing with our social impact, and they just want more products. So that's basically what we're up to.
I've done the book with you, but it's a really cool book about the community and all that sort of stuff. And you've created a Facebook group and all these sort of things. And there's lots of impact in the community, but especially with the TX thing. So maybe you want to talk a bit more about the foundation that has came as a result of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose when we first launched TradeMutt, we were with an existing non-for-profit organisation that were just sort of doing ad hoc initiatives for different things, and they had an idea to put comedians and musicians together to create a song that was unique and that was a conversation starter. Sadly, that never got off the ground, and we were investing into this thing to say, hey, look, this is what we're putting our money behind. When they weren't coming up with the initiative itself, we thought, well, shit, this is embroidered on all of our shirts. We don't just want to be ticking a box and saying we're doing something. We want to control our outcomes, so why don't we acquire this logo off you? And we'll do our own thing with it. And we met some amazing people along the way. And what we realised was that people that did want to access help didn't know where to go. And it wasn't so much crisis support, but they just needed assistance. And it's more than peer-to-peer, and it's not crisis. So there's this huge chunk in the middle where it's like, I know I'm not right, but where do I go? And it was actually after Anthony Bourdain took his life a few years ago. There's a fairly prominent charity in Australia that put a post up about it, and they're a mental health awareness charity. And one of our mates, Russ again, the guy who was at our little shareholders meeting, he saw someone on there comment, this is where I'm headed, like a cry for help. And Russ saw it, messaged him, and started connecting with this guy and saying, hey, look, here to help, blah, 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 blah. And he said, did anyone from that charity reach out to you? And, this young bloke said, no one has. And Russ said, oh, well, have you directly contacted them? He said, yes. And Russ thought, oh, maybe he's not telling me the truth. So Russ messaged them directly and said, hey, guys, I've got a mate struggling. What do I do? And didn't hear anything back. I remember him telling us this, and we were like, this is like the fucking major issue. I was like, someone here needs help, has asked for it, and no one's been there. And it's like, this is a prominent, non-for-profit charity. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
So we're like, righto, well, let's get people access to the people they need instantaneously and free. And so that's where TX came from, because the barriers to entry for people to access private sector mental health care, it's just a fucking,
it's ridiculous.
It's just
it's
a complex. Yeah, it's mad. And to think that it's been able to get that way, and that no one else was really doing what we were doing, was really surprising. So we're like, well, fuck it, we'll just do it because we know this is what needs to be done. So away we went. Launched TX just under 11 months ago. Been able to give out sort of 2,000 contact hours of free professional mental health support with our...
Which is fantastic, because that'd be worth a fortune. I'm doing the sums in my head by how much it would...
Yeah, so it's sort of well over $500,000 worth of free care to the community, which is really, really cool. And we've been able to, obviously we're in full control of it, so we're able to do outbound stuff as well. So, anyone listening here could give TX a call or a text, talk to one of our psychologists and say, hey, look, I'm really worried about a mate of mine. Our psychologist will give you some assistance in regards to what you can do now for that friend or family member. And then our psychologist can say, hey, look, do you want us to give them a call? And you can be like, yeah, this is their number. I'll have a chat to them and let them know you're going to give them a buzz. And we can do that as well. So outbound calls, and it's ongoing and always free. So yeah, it's really cool. We're just at the stage now where it's we're trying to go out to market and get more people on board to help further fund it, and get more people to access it, and just get that early intervention when people need it.
Are you surprised the government hasn't done something like that? Because I was saying Victoria, obviously, you have to go to the GP. You have to say you've got anxiety and depression when you might not, just to get they tell you what to say to get the 6
mental health plan.
To get the mental health plan, and you feel embarrassed. Like I did it once. I won't go into my story because everyone who listens to my stuff knows my story too much. But to get at 28, 29, I had to go in there and say, look, I don't need a mental health plan, but I want to get the sessions or to talk about something, right? And you have to just go for this procedure. Then you have to go and get the Medicare thing. It's just such a not everyone would go to that effort to go and make the appointment with the GP first of all,
Absolutely. And then even once you've gone and taken the time off work, gone to the doctor and made that appointment, got on the mental health plan, then you've got to go find a psychologist. I mean, yes. we've heard of people that have taken up to 3 months to find a slot to chat to a psychologist. And that's just so scary to think that that's the journey for people to access professional help. So yeah, we've just cut away all the bullshit basically. And yeah, I suppose not surprised that the government hasn't done something like this, because it needed that appeal. It needed to be able to talk to community. And I suppose when it comes from the top down, it's hard for the goodwill to be built into a brand, and for people to not just trust it, but actually buy into it. And I think because we've gone from like a bottom-up approach, it's sort of like, hey, look, we're just a couple of blokes, got some ideas, we're making some shirts, people are chatting, people can now access a professional, and it's sort of like this little simmering thing that's sort of like creeping up. And the beautiful thing now is it's a scalable entity in regards to the more money we can raise, the more psychologists we can put on. We didn't want it to be, just another massive behemoth of marketing and advertising spend and admin costs. It's like, no. TradeMutt and all the alliance partners, we pay for their electricity, their rent, their fucking everything. It's just like, we just want more money for more psychologists to give out more hours of care, because it's we're already doing all the other stuff for them.
Which I love hearing, because there is a lot of mental health awareness charities out there, and they're massive, as you said, behemoth of organisations. And sometimes from talking to people, because my passion is more the bipolar, schizophrenia, and kids who have parents with severe mental conditions. That's what I like, and I know how that gets no awareness, where you have these behemoths off these brands, just depression and anxiety. And it's just, it feels like a marketing effort almost. Whereas if you want to cut out all the fluff, this is an actionable thing that people can actually directly help people. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's sort of, I think, the idea around more awareness, everyone knows there's an issue. Everyone knows there's a problem. The beautiful thing is that like our work shirts and like the TradeMutt community are raising the awareness anyway, just through the shirts, because people ask what they're about. So that's already doing that peer-to-peer awareness. But then with TX, it's solution based. It's, hey, look, fuck. The issue is people can't access private sector mental health care, so we're just giving it away for free. It's really exciting, mate. We're absolutely loving it, and can't wait to see what the future holds.
Well, I hope the government would look at it and say, well, look at the process with this and how easy it is to get access to help, as opposed to the current system. Because I know Victoria, we just had recently the Mental Health Royal Commission, and there was a heap of recommendations, and Our Premier said he's going to implement all of them, which I hope he does.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me like, modern times, you would think you would want to reduce barriers to access help, whereas the current just with the bureaucracy, it just seems to be so backwards. So has anyone from the government or anything sort of been in touch with you or asked you about what
Nothing.
you do, or no feedback?
No, nothing yet. We haven't had anyone from the government reach out yet. I think it's probably people are probably waiting for the data. We've been starting to really push out the data and the impact we've been able to make, and it's
now the data's interesting because I've talked to a lady who works in this field, and they want you to have impact studies of 10 years. So, for example, there's a charity down here called Satellite, and they hold camps with kids who have got like parents with bipolar or schizophrenia, and they put them together.
Yeah.
And to get funding, they say you've got to show us your impact over 10 years.
Yeah.
So you've got to wait for 10 years of doing this thing, to show your impact or your cause or whatever it is. I could be wrong in that, but that's the sort of the stuff, the bureaucracy that's going on.
And I mean, it's sort of worrying because, these larger organisations that are getting, up to like $750 million a year between the three of them. It's just like, we need to, we're very solutions focused in regards to why keep flogging a dead horse when there's other ways out there that we can make a change and people can get, help.
Yeah. It's a great point what you make here, because I had a guy who's the ambassador for Headspace in Victoria, he's an ex-football player, and he said exactly the same thing. There's been enough money spent on awareness, as you said, but where's the solution base, or where's the actual help?
Yeah.
Where are those systems in place, which seems to be what has to happen next with regards to where the money goes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, hopefully we can, eventually get picked up and further funded. But I mean, we're confident in the model that we've got and the corporate partners that we've got coming on board, that we think we can do it on our own anyway. So, we've never wanted to have to rely on anyone directly. I think we're just, we're surrounded by really good organisations and great people, and we're very confident we'll be able to do it on our own.
Now, what's the feedback are you getting from the service? I presume you get a lot of direct feedback and things like that. So what's coming through?
We get amazing feedback. I think the ironic thing is that people reach out because they trust Dan and I in regards to our who we are as people, which is really cool and nothing that we ever anticipated. It's been podcasts like this we've been on where people have reached out directly to TX. They already had plans in place to take their life, but heard our story, what we were doing, and it was something that appealed to them in regards to I trust this, which is really cool. So we've been able to build up some really goodwill in the brand, and the feedback is just overwhelming in regards to it's free, which people just can't believe. They think there's some sort of fucking catch somewhere. It's completely free, and you can use it for as long as you want. And sort of the cool thing is now we're getting to a stage where we're sort of people that have come to us in real dire straits, but we've been able to progress them right through, get them the help that they've needed and the education they've needed to now sort of wean off our service. So our goal is obviously for people to access us, but our goal then is also to get people away, but improve as human beings as we sort of wean them off, which is really cool. So that's sort of the stages that we're at now, where we've had clients through where we're able to say, hey, look, we've got you to a position now where I don't think we need to be catching up, once a week. We can catch up once every 2 months. Which is exciting. And I mean, the feedback we get is really, really empowering, mate. It's really cool.
So how many psychologists do you have on staff, or how many?
We've got 4 at the moment. We're just about to hire our 5th. So we've got, a really, really cool little tight-knit crew up there. We're just about to hire the next person to go up in there. It'll be really exciting. And
is the plan to just expand that arm, or is there other things in the work, or what's the...
Yeah, so the TX side of things, obviously, most tradies are up early in the morning, and most tradies are going to bed late at night. So sort of the next main goal for us is to be able to pick up those hours sort of earlier than 9 and later than 5, and get people when they're at home. And, some blokes loosen up after a couple of stubbies and are then willing to text or call someone. Some people do night shift and come home really early in the morning and want to be able to speak to someone. So, expanding the service hours out is probably one of the next main goals. But also, just getting more industry partners on board. So setting up the TX Alliance is our big next goal. So our next half of the year this year and the first half of next financial year is setting up the TX Alliance and getting more industry partners on board and helping further fund more psychologists. So it costs us $120,000 a year to hire one psychologist, but we're able to give out a 3-to-1 return on that money to the community. So if you give us $1, we'll give $3 back to the community for zero cost, which is really cool. So just getting that funding model together, so it's sustainable, it's scalable, and something that we know will continue to keep the lights on, but create further change in the community.
I think it's fantastic. And is there any sort of stuff from the private Facebook group you have that the sharing or the stories? Like, what's happening in that as well?
Yeah, the Mutt Hut, so it's the closed Facebook group for anyone that's bought Trademutt Workwear before, which is really cool. And yeah, we get stories in there of people that have seen other Trademutt shirts and sort of their instant mates in regards to they've got a common cause and a common story and something that they can chat about. We also hear stories of impact where people are just out and about and someone spotted the shirt and asked what it's about, and they've opened up and shown some vulnerability and then reached out to TX or reached out to support somewhere else, which is really cool. And then just amazing spots of the shirts have shown up, all over Australia, people out wearing them out and about. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really smart what you've done, just how you've got that community, and it's something where people want to take a photo of themselves, the UGC, the user-generated content. It's a really smart thing, and they feel good. As you said, the thank you water was a good example before of a social enterprise brand. And it's fantastic you got in work, because I don't think there's anything else that I've seen that's like this or achieving what you have from way of a service to the community. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thanks, mate. No, I really appreciate it. It's obviously there's definitely some hard days and great days as well. So it's never always easy, but it's rewarding and really appreciate that. It's really
Now, with your supply chain as well, it's not just you have some workers who have special needs as well involved in your supply chain as well. Maybe you'll talk about your actual. It's not just you're getting these from a sweatshop in China or whatever. Maybe you want to talk about the supply chain?
Yeah, so I suppose we've done some manufacturing with She Rescue Home over in Cambodia. So we made our Ranger hoodies last year. We've made some our high-vis polos. They're in market at the moment. They were made over there, which is really cool. So She Rescue Home's run by It's Not Okay Projects. It's a safe haven for women caught up in the sex trafficking industry in Southeast Asia. It's been really cool to be able to support them. We also work with Work Restart. It's in prison sewing service outside Brisbane. Which is really cool. So it's a social impact initiative. So it's inmates learning new skills, so we can cut the rate of recidivism when they come out of imprisonment. Give them gainful employment. So one of our main goals is to actually employ someone that comes through that program and get them into our business full time, which would be really cool down the track. And we also work with Sendable, so they're our warehousing, pick, pack, and dispatch, so our 3PL, third-party logistics company. So they work with Multicap, and we've got sort of over 9,100 hours of disability employment through our collaboration with Sendable. So everyone there has got a disability. It gives them gainful employment. It's really exciting. They're a great group of men and women over there who pick, pack, and dispatch our stuff with care every day and send it out to our amazing customers. And it's just another way of us to make a little bit of social impact along the way.
Now, was that the goal at the start, was to have everything in the supply chain that way, or was it just sort of that developed? Or
no, it's just sort of the way it's gone. I mean, we've met more great people. We've found other great connections and people doing good things. And Declan, who runs Sendable, he was one of the very few cold LinkedIn messages that I've ever replied to. I mean, it was just a no-brainer for us. I mean, there's other alternatives, and I don't think they'd be that much cheaper. And it's like, why wouldn't you select, people that are disadvantaged and giving more people more opportunities? I think it's just we all think here it's just a bit of a no-brainer. Why wouldn't we support those sorts of initiatives? They're fantastic and making a lot of impact.
I think you're ahead of the curve by a mile, Ed. I think what you're doing now, everyone obviously wants to have a side hustle and get a prototype and get it done in China and stuff. But I think, having that whole process actually make an impact along the way, rather than just saying, you're donating $1 for Tree Planet or something, it's actually really, really impressive. And I think you're way ahead of the curve
Thanks,
with
mate.
these social enterprises. So I was going to say, what have you personally learned from the experience regarding this? Because obviously, did you have any experience with mental health affecting the family or anything at the start, or was it just vicariously via your friend?
No, I didn't. But well, I mean, looking back now, obviously, I didn't even realise that everyone had mental health. People just think that mental health is depression, anxiety. That's the amount that Dan and I have learned, and our employees along the way is profound. I mean, looking back now, there's plenty of times looking back at my childhood in regards to where, family members or friends were experiencing poor mental health, but we were none the wiser and we weren't labeling it that. It was just sort of, having a shitty couple of weeks. I mean, what we've learned just about ourselves, how we operate, how to run a business, how to start a charity, how to employ people, how to set a culture, and mate, we've learned so much and still learning. Made huge mistakes. We'll continue to make mistakes, but learn from them, and just got a really cool North Star in regards to where we want to take it, make as much impact as we can, and bloody change the world.
How big's your team now?
So including a couple of casuals, we're about 15 in TradeMutt, and we've got 5, so four psychologists in TX, and then Mark, he's the CEO, so he runs it for us. So there's 5 over there and 15 in TradeMutt. So about 20 of us sprawling around here at any one time, which is
basically 3.5 years, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool, really cool.
And now I was going to say as well, you obviously have your own podcast, which is really cool. You got an in-studio sort of set up with that, and maybe you want to talk a bit about that real quickly.
Yeah, so TradeMutt Radio. So Dan and I started that when it was still just Dan and I about 18 months ago. And we just wanted to be able to have the conversations that we had, and we wanted our community to have more often. So we thought, why don't we lead the charge here and sit down and show some vulnerability and talk to a broad range of people about who they are and what they've been through and how they've overcome certain obstacles in their lives. It's been really cool. So we've done it must be up to about 50 episodes now, I think. Sort of got to the end of last year, probably September, October, and Dan and I were just burning out. So we put a cease on the podcast for a couple of months so we could rejuvenate and come back bigger and better. And launched it again this year, and it's going really well. We're having some really amazing guests on. People with lived experience, but also people that are professionals in their field. So we're just having, conversations that people should be having but aren't. We had Rani Farmer on from Perinatal Wellness, Peachtree. So it's a non-profit, talks about perinatal depression and anxiety, and that was an amazing chat. She's got a lived experience. And then Rob Godwin, he's one of the directors of Love Honey. It's the biggest sex toy online retailer in the world. Right. He's got 440 staff, and we're talking about sexual health, anxiety, relationships, consent, porn. So just having all these conversations that we should all be having, but we aren't, and bring it to the forefront of what people are talking about. It's really cool.
Awesome. And I was going to say to you as well, the range. So the range, I looked the other bit basically today. The range is expanding. What's the off the clock operator or something like that?
Off the clock operator. Yes, that's one of the things I've got on today. Yeah. So we've got
more of a casual range, is it, or?
Yeah, just some stuff that people can slop on around at home. And us to knock around in the office with. So the off the clock operator gear is basically just some lifestyle stuff that people have been crying out for. So once you knock the boots off and sit on the couch and had enough for the day, you can relax in a bit of comfort. So we've got the comfort zone out at the moment. Some t-shirts and stuff as well. And mate, people are absolutely loving it.
And you personally, what do you do for your own mental health to look after? Because you mentioned before burning out, and that's going from a startup and doing it successfully as you had. You've obviously put in a lot of hours and hard work. Yeah. So what have you done for yourself? You're probably doing a lot for others to worry about yourself. Yeah, my big thing, is probably has been investing in a lot of reading. So my goal this year was to read a book a month. So poking along really well there. Just investing into some downtime and less screen time, which is really good. A lot more connection with the wife and at home with the dog, doing a bit of gardening, chilling out, and just setting a better routine. It's so easy to
yeah, get up first thing in the morning, on the phone, bloody into work, away you go, and work all day, and then bloody it's night time and you're in bed and you go around again. So yeah, it's just setting some really good expectations in regards to start and finish times, and taking some time for yourself. I think it's really important. Like where Dan and I are going to the Fink Desert Race this year to go and do a bit of spectating and travel out to Central Australia and. So taking 2 weeks off in the middle of the year just to rejuvenate, and it's something that we've put across our entire business. Everyone in the business has got to take 2 weeks off at some stage this year so we don't burn out, because the Christmas rush, September onwards, is just absolute chaos, and we want everyone to be set up and ready to go for a big end of the year.
I can imagine. Well, Ed, I've taken up enough of your time, so maybe you want to, what are your handles? Where can everyone find you? All that sort of stuff.
Thanks, Joel. Yeah, well, I mean, trademutt.com, TradeMutt.com. Same on Facebook, Instagram. If you want to listen to our podcast, it's TradeMutt Radio. Really appreciate the opportunity, Joel. It was great to chat, mate. And can't wait to make some more impact with you and your team.
I've said this to you before, mate, but off camera, this is what you're doing is what I essentially want to do. I think what you've done is fantastic. I think, doing a startup, it's so hard, but to have that passion or that purpose as well, just gives you that extra fuel to keep going. It's really, really impressive. And I reckon you're a leader in this. And I reckon a lot of people are going to start copying this model, I guess, and for a bunch of causes and how you've done it. And you'll probably get hit up for to create a business course or something on some website and how you did it and whatever else. But it's really, really impressive. And I'm really, really happy to have you on. And thank you for giving me your time, because I know you're extremely busy. I hope anyone who's listening to this checks out the website, podcast, all that sort of stuff. And if anyone from the government's listening, hit you guys up for how you guys actually provide a service with to the community like this. It's unbelievable.
And if anyone's listening and wants to access TIAX, just head over to tiax.org, tiacs.org, or you can text or call them Monday to Friday 9 to 5 on 0488 469 88.
No worries. Well, thanks for that, Ed. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Joel. Take care, mate. Chat soon.